There's a certain kind of person who hears about a party happening this weekend and instantly begins crafting a reason not to go. Not because they're sad, not because social situations make them anxious, but because they truly prefer their own company. And psychologists have recently discovered why society has completely misunderstood these people. Being lonely and being alone are not the same thing. One is a form of pain, while the other may actually be a hidden strength. For years, psychologists grouped anyone who likes spending time alone into one troubling box: introverts, loners, antisocial individuals, especially that last label, as if enjoying solitude meant you were just one rough day away from turning into a supervillain. Backstory. But then research took an unexpected turn. In 2017, psychologists at the University of Buffalo explored an idea that hadn't really been examined before. They posed a straightforward question: what if some people simply prefer solitude? Not because they fear others, not because something is wrong with them, but because being alone genuinely feels good. They called this trait unsociability. It's not antisocial behavior, which involves hostility toward others. It's not avoidance driven by fear either. Unsociability is a calm, self-assured preference for solitude. And when researchers studied people who fit this description, the surprise was that they were thriving. So, what's really going on in the brain of someone who genuinely enjoys being alone? To start, their dopamine system operates differently. While extroverts experience a strong dopamine rush from socializing, the laughter, shared energy, and stimulation, people who favor solitude tend to have a more sensitive dopamine response. They reach their ideal level of stimulation much faster. Think of it like spice tolerance. An extrovert needs an entire jalapeno to feel the heat. Someone who loves solitude only needs a tiny sprinkle of chili flakes to feel satisfied. But it gets even more intriguing. The prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for deep thought, self-examination, and complex problem solving, becomes especially active during time spent alone. They aren't just zoning out or staring at nothing. Their minds are busy with reflection, creativity, and intense mental activity. And here's another important point. Research on creativity repeatedly shows that major insights rarely emerge from group brainstorming sessions or noisy cafes. They tend to appear in the shower, during solitary walks, or late at night when everyone else is asleep. Many of history's greatest thinkers produced their best work in isolation. Writers and artists have long emphasized the need for solitude, even going so far as to remove themselves from their homes just to work alone. That pattern isn't accidental. Before you start labeling yourself, because many of you are probably thinking this sounds familiar, let's pause for a moment. There's an important distinction that needs to be made. So the real question is this: are you choosing solitude, or are you hiding behind it? Because here's the uncomfortable reality. Some people aren't truly embracing time alone. Instead, they're using it as protection, a barrier against rejection, criticism, or the vulnerability that comes with genuine connection. That's where honesty with ourselves becomes essential. Psychologist Carl Rogers spoke about this distinction. He explained that healthy solitude grows from abundance, not from lack. You enjoy being alone because you've already experienced meaningful relationships and know you're capable of having them again. You're not avoiding people. You're turning inward, toward yourself. So the question isn't whether you like being alone. It's why you like being alone. If your explanation includes words like recharge, create, reflect, or process, you're likely operating in that healthy unsociability space. But if your reasons sound more like safer, easier, or less painful, that may point to something else worth examining. Not a flaw, not something broken, just different. And perhaps something to talk through with someone you trust. Now, let's return to those who truly flourish in solitude. Because they've realized something many of us are still figuring out. They understand that being alone does not mean being unfinished. Think about the language we use around relationships. My other half. My better half. You complete me. We've built a story where people are treated like incomplete Lego pieces, desperately searching for the one block that makes them whole. But those who enjoy solitude have looked at that story and decided something else entirely. They've said, actually, I'm already a complete set. And here's what makes that so interesting. It isn't ego, it's self-awareness. Research has shown that people who are comfortable being single and spending time alone often maintain deeper connections with friends, family, and their communities than those in relationships. Because they aren't trying to squeeze every emotional need out of one person. They're not grasping, they're choosing. And they understand a vital truth. The way you spend your time alone directly shapes the way you show up with others. When solitude leaves you recharged, grounded, and mentally clear, you bring more to your relationships. You're not exhausted, you're not resentful, and you're not searching for someone else to fill a void. You arrive whole, because you've already spent time nourishing yourself first. That's real power. And here's something fascinating. In Japan, there's even a word for this concept. Hitori jikan, time spent alone. And it's not merely tolerated, it's openly celebrated. There are restaurants designed with individual dining booths meant for one person. Movie theaters that offer single seats without making anyone feel out of place. And entire cultural norms built around the idea that sometimes you simply need to be with yourself. They even have karaoke booths designed for solo singers. Think about that for a moment. Singing alone in a soundproof room has been turned into a perfectly normal social activity. Meanwhile, in much of the Western world, people still ask, "Why are you eating alone?" As if it's something you need to explain, a confession in a support circle. It's kind of unbelievable. So what does all of this mean for you? If you're someone who genuinely enjoys being alone, consider this your official permission. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not strange, and you're certainly not broken. Your brain is quite literally structured to find recovery and balance in solitude. And that isn't just acceptable, it's important. The world needs people who are comfortable with themselves, who can think deeply without non-stop input, and who understand the difference between healthy connection and emotional dependence. In a time of constant notifications, instant replies, and the expectation to always be reachable, the ability to truly enjoy your own company may be one of the most countercultural traits there is. Just be sure you're not mistaking preference for protection. Take an honest look inward. Can you connect when you choose to? Do you have people you trust? Are you moving towards solitude? Or running away from connection? Because the healthiest relationship with being alone is one where it's a deliberate choice, not a defensive move. The next time someone asks why you're always by yourself, why you canceled plans, or why you'd rather stay home with a book than attend a party, you could explain dopamine sensitivity, prefrontal cortex activity, Hitori, Jikan, Einstein. And the research showing that solitude isn't social failure, it's often social intelligence. Or you could simply smile and say, "Because I like myself." That response usually shuts the conversation down pretty fast. And honestly, that's the point. If this video just put words to habits you've never been able to explain, don't scroll away. The videos on screen are direct follow-ups. One breaks down why you recharge the way you do, and why certain routines feel essential. The other explains how your brain handles stimulation and how that shapes your everyday behavior. They aren't random. They answer the questions this video likely just brought up. I'll see you there.